everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Free Take. Let's just address it. Nebraska got humbled. That's just the truth. Nebraska got humbled. Against Illinois, 31-24 in overtime. Before I break down the game, I'm kind of trying to be quiet because, my wife and son are upstairs sleeping, so the grind never stops. But make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below, and let's get right into it. Before I actually break down the game, my uncle texted me this morning and said I have to let every Nebraska fan know what he has to say on this podcast. So my Uncle David said, "Why didn't you keep the same energy in the stadium as you did with Colorado?" That was his words, not mine. I wasn't there at the game. I don't know how loud it was. It looked pretty loud, sounded pretty loud, but I digress. Okay, let's get into Nebraska versus Illinois. 31-24. Dylan Raiola, 24 for 35, 297, 3 touchdowns and interception. Luke Altmaier, 21 for 27 for 215, 4 TDs, no interceptions. There's going to be a lot of stats that come out of this game. A lot of them bad for Nebraska, but I'll break down the stats in just a second because I have an interesting stat that I feel like everybody needs to hear. But like I said in the Nebraska-Colorado game, Nebraska makes a lot of mistakes. They make a lot of mistakes. 9 penalties for 89 yards. Coaching down the stretch from Matt Rule and the defensive coordinator. Throwing your challenge for something that doesn't need to be challenged. I don't know who was in Matt Rule's ear to throw a challenge play when it obviously wasn't overturnable. Listen, all in all, it was a really good game. Like, probably one of the best games so far this year. That crowd was insane. Their 400th consecutive sellout. Crazy. Nebraska's going to show up. But despite the loss, I still think Nebraska is okay. I don't think anybody expected them to go undefeated this year. Like I said in the beginning, 10-2, 11-1, going into the Big Ten championship. Hopefully, you still got a shot. I'm not saying, Nebraska's done. Now, I'm not saying that it's over, but there is a couple things that worry me about Nebraska, especially playing better competition. Making these mistakes against good teams is going to cost you. You can get away with it playing Colorado. You can get away with it playing Northern Iowa. You know what I mean? You can get away with it playing below average to average teams. But when you're playing against ranked teams or conference teams, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. And you've seen it happen, on Friday night. Speaking of ranked teams, here's one of the 2 crazy stats. Nebraska has lost 25 times in a row to ranked opponents. 25 consecutive losses against AP ranked opponents. That's not good. I don't really hold that stat up, until like, oh, you got to press the red button. We got to do something now. We got to make changes. Like, well, listen, Illinois is a really good team. Luke Altmaier played with poise. He's a very good quarterback. They're ranked, 24 in the nation for a reason, and Nebraska deserved to be ranked 21. I mean, listen, they played really well against teams that they played against, but this was one of those teams where you needed to, you needed to win this. It was winnable. I mean, very winnable, but let's go through it. A lot of Nebraska fans, especially the people I work with, it was the late hit wasn't called. The refs screwed us. I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't want to hear anything about a late hit. I don't want to hear anything about they were holding. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't. They didn't call the face mask in the third quarter when it was an obvious face mask. Let's just go to the fourth quarter. Dylan Raiola played a really good 3.5 quarters until the fourth quarter. An awful drive. A couple fumbles. And then that next drive, he had a amazing throw. He just overshot it to the tight end. And, he overshot it. And he knew it because you could see the way he was holding his hands on the face mask. Like, he knew he overshot that. But, we got to have those. And your starting kicker was out. Okay? That's understandable, right? But 39 yards. Your backup kicker can't hit a 39-yard field goal. 45 and over, I will understand, but 39 yards, you got to have that. You got to have that. And when it comes to Nebraska's defense, 3 plays in the red zone, Illinois ran the same exact type of play 3 times. One of them, and it was all in the right corner. Every single one of them was in the right corner. One of them was from the tight end. One of them was from an offensive lineman. And then the other one was a receiver lined up in the fullback, but went the same way. So, listen, there were a lot of mistakes made. And like I said, Nebraska makes a lot of mistakes. Matt Rule, when it comes down to crunch time, makes a lot of mistakes. And I'm going to give you a stat. Okay? This is the stat that I was talking about. Matt Rule with Nebraska from last year to this year is 1-6 when it comes to games being decided 8 points or fewer. So that means, if you're just playing the analytics game, the statistics, just simple math here, any team that is within a touchdown or fewer going into crunch time has an 83% chance of winning the game. That's bad. That is terrible. I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't understand how when you get to these close situations, only one time out of 6 tries you've got it done. And it all comes down to the mistakes. I mean, I'm not going to, count Nebraska out per se. They're going to Purdue. So let's see how Dylan plays going away. Yeah, man, I just that 1-6 is a crazy stat. And, shout out to Illinois. They really showed kind of how to put pressure on Nebraska's defense a bit with the high-speed offense, no huddle, control the time of possession. I mean, they were on the field a lot, for a while. And that also gets Dylan kind of out of rhythm. The overtime, I don't mind the you can go either way. Nebraska won the toss and they chose to defer and play defense. In that position, I feel like I would have, see if Dylan can go out there and score real quick. Give your defense a break too. But it's either or. I wasn't mad at that. I was just, listen, playing against these ranked teams, it's going to be close. How confident are you winning a close game when you're 1-6? But overall, what a hell of a game. The fact of the matter is, you guys just got humbled. It's fine. Everybody loses, but it kind of defeats the notion that Nebraska is back, because Tom Osborne wouldn't have done that. Any legit college coach would not have that bad of a record when it comes down to crunch time. And I think the defensive coordinator just got outcoached too. Illinois at the end of that game, going into overtime, threw a bunch of twists, threw a bunch of, misdirections in the defense that really gave Dylan and the offensive line struggle. I mean, even at the last play of the game, it's like, what, 4th and 25? They started at, 3rd and 42, the intentional grounding. I mean, he's young, but those are the mistakes that I'm talking about. And that last play, the 4th down play, they just sent the middle linebacker right down the middle. And it was like Moses parted the Red Sea. I mean, wide ass open. And he sacked him. Listen, overall it was a really good game. I enjoyed watching it. Thankfully, I am not a Nebraska fan, or I would, feel like the rest of you guys may feel. But it is what it is. Like I said, you guys have a chance to bounce back. USC got upsetted tonight, so at the time of this recording. So, Michigan beat them. You guys could probably beat them too. It's going to be tough, though. Like I said, if you give the other team a cushion to where there's no room for a comeback, you guys should be fine. But that means that you have to literally try to, blow out or get a double-digit lead on these good teams coming up. But we'll see what happens. That's it for this free take. I actually do have another segment coming up soon, sometime this week, that I won't say, but I will just pop up here. I'm very excited for it. And yeah, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, like it, subscribe to it, comment about it. Let me know what you guys think, especially Nebraska fans. Let me know about that 1-6 stat. That is an insane stat. Are you guys worried? Are you not worried? Do you guys think you got screwed by the refs? Let me know. But that is it for this episode of Free Take, and we're out.